Why chasing success is the fastest way to feel dead. Inside, the dark side of ambition. You are running a race where the finish line is tied to your own forehead, so no matter how fast you sprint, the destination remains exactly the same distance away, and the only thing you are actually achieving is the slow, methodical erosion of your ability to enjoy being alive. Let me guess what your internal monologue sounds like. It goes something like this. I just need to get through this week. I just need to finish this project. I just need to get that promotion, hit that revenue target, or buy that house. Once I get there, then I can finally breathe. Then I will be enough. You have been telling yourself this lie since you were 15 years old. You told yourself that when you got into college, you'd be happy. Then it was when you graduated. Then it was the first job. Then the better job. Then the relationship. Then the engagement. And here you are. You have achieved things that the teenage version of you would have killed for. On paper, you are a success story. On paper, you are crushing it. But if we strip away the LinkedIn updates and the polite dinner party conversation, how do you actually feel on a Tuesday night when the house is quiet? You feel hollow. You feel a strange, vibrating anxiety that whispers, "This isn't enough. I need more." You feel like you are starving at a banquet. You thought that climbing the mountain would give you a beautiful view. But now that you are at the summit, all you see is the next higher mountain. And you are exhausted. You are bone tired. But you can't stop climbing because you are terrified that if you stop moving, the emptiness will catch up to you. I am not here to tell you to stop working. I am here to tell you that your ambition has mutated. It is no longer a tool you use to improve your life. It is a parasite that is consuming your life to feed itself. If you stay with me, I promise you this. We are going to perform. An exorcism on that voice in your head that says more. And we are going to teach you how to finally, actually, arrive. We live in a culture that treats ambition as the ultimate virtue. We are bombarded with messages about hustle, grind, and never settling. We look at billionaires, athletes, and CEOs, and we are told that their level of obsession is what we should all aspire to. We are taught that contentment is for losers. If you are satisfied, you are stagnant. If you are resting, you are rotting. This is the arrival fallacy. It is the collective delusion that happiness is a place you go to, rather than a way you travel. You have convinced yourself that your life is currently in the draft phase, and that the final version will begin once you achieve X, Y, or Z. You treat the present moment like a dirty waiting room, something to be endured, ignored, or rushed through to get to the doctor's office of success. But look at the mechanics of this trap. It is ingenious in its cruelty. The moment you achieve a goal, your brain instantly recalibrates. The dopamine hit lasts for maybe an hour, maybe a day. Then normal resets. The new salary becomes the baseline. The new car becomes just a mode of transport. The new title becomes just a job description. This is the hedonic treadmill. You have to run faster and faster just to stay in the same place emotionally. And what is the cost? To feed this beast, you start cannibalizing the things that actually make life worth living. You sacrifice your sleep. You sacrifice your health. You skip the gym because you're too busy. You gaze at your phone during dinner with your partner because an email might be important. You miss your child's play, or you are physically there but mentally drafting a memo. You tell yourself, I'm doing this for them. I'm doing this for our future. Stop lying. You are doing this because you are addicted to the validation of achievement. You are doing this because you don't know who you are without the chase. You have confused your net worth with your self-worth, and your productivity with your purpose. You are not building a life. You are building a resume for a funeral that you won't even be around to attend. I want to tell you about a friend of mine. Let's call him Julian. Julian was the definition of a high performer. He worked in high-end real estate, the kind of job where you wear three-piece suits and drink espresso at 9 p.m. Julian had a vision board. He had specific, Targets for every year of his life. By 30, he wanted to be a partner. By 35, he wanted a specific penthouse in the city. He operated like a machine. He missed his best friend's bachelor party because he had a critical negotiation. He broke up with a girl he genuinely loved because she didn't understand his drive. He viewed everything that wasn't work as a distraction. I remember meeting him for a drink the week he finally bought the penthouse. This was the Holy Grail. This was the thing he had been talking about for 6 years. He invited me over to see it. It was magnificent. Floor-to-ceiling windows, marble countertops, a view of the entire skyline. It looked exactly like the magazine photos. We stood on the balcony, looking out at the city lights. I expected him to be popping champagne, screaming, celebrating. Instead, he was just leaning against the glass, looking tired. He took a sip of his drink and said, "The weirdest thing happened today. I signed the papers. I got the keys, I walked in, and I felt absolutely nothing." He looked at me with genuine fear in his eyes. "I actually felt worse," he said, "because for the last 6 years, I could tell myself, I'm miserable now, but once I get the apartment, I'll be happy. Now I have the apartment, and I'm still miserable. So what do I do now? What's the next thing?" Julian had crashed into the wall of reality. He realized that he had spent a decade holding his breath, waiting to exhale, only to find out that the air in the penthouse was just as thin as the air in the basement. He had no furniture, literally and metaphorically. He was alone in a glass box, and he had no hobbies, no deep relationships, and no interior life because he had traded them all for the keys in his pocket. He wasn't a success. He was a cautionary tale wrapped in Armani. This feeling that Julian had, this specific flavor of despair, was perfectly diagnosed by a grumpy German philosopher named Arthur Schopenhauer in the 19th century. Schopenhauer is often called the king of pessimism, but I think he was just the world's first realist about ambition. Schopenhauer looked at human existence and said that life swings like a pendulum backward and forward between 2 points: pain and boredom. Here is how it works. When you want something, you are in pain. You suffer the lack of it. You strive, you struggle, you stress. You feel the gap between where you are and where you want to be. That is the will to live. A blind, ceaseless driving force. Then you achieve the goal. You get what you wanted. For a fleeting moment, the pain stops. But it is not replaced by permanent happiness. It is replaced by boredom. You possess the thing, so it no longer excites you. It becomes mundane. The emptiness returns. So, to escape the boredom, you invent a new desire, a new goal, and you swing back into pain. Schopenhauer argued that we are like beggars who dream of being kings, but even if we become kings, we are still ruled by the same tyranny of desire. Look at Alexander the Great. The man conquered the known world. He was the CEO of antiquity, and the story goes that when he realized there were no more worlds to conquer, he wept. He didn't celebrate. He broke down. Why? Because without the conquest, without the ambition, he had to sit with himself, and he couldn't do it. This is the ancient curse of pleonexia, the Greek concept of insatiable desire. It is a bucket with a hole in the bottom. You can pour the entire ocean into it, and it will never be full. You think you are different. You think, no, if I just get that $1 million, I'll stop. History, philosophy, and psychology all scream that you are wrong. You won't stop. Because the hunger isn't about the food. The hunger is about the fact that you have a tapeworm in your soul. Schopenhauer's solution wasn't to hustle harder. It was to negate the will, to step off the pendulum, to find salvation not in acquiring more, but in desiring a less. To find peace in art, in contemplation, in compassion, things that do not require you to conquer anything. You have been playing the game with a broken controller. You think the way to win is to score more points, but the game is rigged so that the points reset every time you level up. You need the hidden manual for navigating ambition without losing your mind. Rule number 1. Ambition is an anesthetic, not a stimulant. We usually think we work hard because we are passionate. Often, that is a lie. We work hard because we are terrified of silence. When you are busy, when you are stressed, when you are in the weeds, you don't have to think about the big questions. You don't have to think about your mortality, your loneliness, or your childhood trauma. You use your career as a noise machine to drown out your own thoughts. Realize that your drive is often just a flight response. You are running away from yourself. Rule number 2, the if-then equation is always false. If I get X, then I will feel Y. This is the core code of your misery. Delete it. Happiness is not a consequent variable of success. They are independent variables. You can be successful and miserable. Look at Hollywood. You can be struggling and happy. Look at a monk. If you cannot find a way to enjoy the Tuesday afternoon struggle, you will not enjoy the Saturday night victory. You must learn to enjoy the texture of the work, not just the result of the work. If you hate the climbing, the view from the top won't save you. Rule number 3. You pay in time, not money. When you buy a bigger house, you think you are paying with money. You are not. You are paying with the hours of life you had to sell to get that money. You are paying with the stress that shortens your telomeres. You are paying with the time you didn't spend watching your kids grow up. Every ambitious jump has a price tag denominated in life force. Before you chase the next level, look at the price tag and ask, is this upgrade worth 3 years of high-stress insomnia? Usually, the answer is no. So, what do? Do you quit your job and move to a yurt in Mongolia? No, that's just ambition wearing a hippie costume. You need to recalibrate your relationship with success right where you are. First, define enough. This is the most rebellious act you can commit in a capitalist society. You need a hard number. What is the amount of money you actually need to be free and comfortable? Not the amount to impress your father. Not the amount to beat your college roommate. The amount you need. Once you hit that number, stop optimizing for money. Start optimizing for time. If you don't define the finish line, society will keep moving it until you die. Second, practice strategic underachievement. You do not need to be an A+ student in every area of your life. That is a recipe for a stroke. Pick one thing to be great at, maybe your craft. In everything else, be a solid B. Be a B cleaner of your house. B. A B responder to emails. Be a B socialite. Reclaim that energy. Stop trying to maximize every variable. Being optimal is the enemy of being peaceful. Third, get a hobby with 0 ROI. We ruin everything by trying to monetize it. Oh, you like painting? You should sell your art on Etsy. You like cooking? Start a blog. Stop it. Do something that has absolutely no economic value. Build Lego sets. Garden. Learn an instrument badly. Do something purely for the joy of the action itself, with no goal of improvement or profit. This retrains your brain to enjoy the process rather than the outcome. Fourth, the deathbed audit. When you are faced with a decision, whether to take the promotion that requires 80-hour weeks or stay in the role that pays less but gives you weekends off, project yourself to age 85. You are in a hospital bed. You have 10 minutes left. Which choice will you regret? No one on their deathbed ever said, I wish I had spent more time optimizing the Q3 supply. Chain strategy. They wish they had spent more time with friends, more time watching sunsets, more time being present. Make the decision your 85-year-old self would respect. Here is the final, brutal truth. You are going to die with a full inbox. No matter how hard you work, no matter how efficient you are, you will never finish everything. There will always be one more email, one more project, one more goal, one more problem to solve. The pile of work is infinite. You are finite. If you are waiting to clear the decks before you start living, you will never live. You will run out of time before you run out of tasks. But here is the reframe, and this is where the hope comes in. You are not required to finish. You are not a machine designed for output. You are a consciousness designed for experience. The value of your life is not measured in the trophies on your shelf, but in the quality of your attention. Imagine a sculpture. The beauty of the sculpture isn't just in the finished stone. It's in the chips on the floor, the dust in the air, the movement of the chisel. You are the sculptor and the stone. So, let go of the idea that you need to become somebody. You already are somebody. The ambition that burns you is just fear telling you that you are small. You are not small. You are vast. Stop running. The race is imaginary. The treadmill is unplugged. Step off. Look around. The only thing you were ever actually chasing was the permission to be okay with yourself. I am giving you that permission right now. You have done enough. You are enough. Now go and actually live the life you have been working so hard to afford.